Okay, welcome back. This is part 2 of the 3.1 notes. Let's go ahead and work out these exercises. Let's take a look at 1 through 4, and we want to look at this figure over here on the right to answer these questions. Okay, number 1 asks all planes that are parallel to plane DEH. Okay, so here's plane DEH. Okay, it's this plane here. It also contains point A. Okay, this is a three-dimensional figure. All right, and so I got to think of the plane, the surface that isn't going to touch this one, okay? And that would be this plane here, BCGF, okay? And we just need 3 points to name it. So we would say a number 1, like, say, plane BCG, okay? And we could name that a number of ways. We can name it BFE, okay, or BFG. We can name it GFC. Any number of ways of naming that. So just choose whichever one you deem necessary. Let's take a look at number 2. It says all segments that are parallel to AB. Okay, so I want to think about all the lines that aren't going to touch AB. Now here's AB. It's right here. Okay, now I know that EF is not going to touch AB. Okay, so I'm going to write on that one EF. Okay, I also know that HG won't touch, and neither will DC. Okay, they're all parallel to AB. So I'm going to write HG and DC. Okay. So those are all the lines or the segments that are parallel to AB. Okay, and then on number 3 it says wants to know all segments that intersect GH. So here's GH right here. Okay, and I notice that I have an intersection point at here. Okay, there's an intersection point, and then right there. So I know that DH is one of those, CG is one, FG, and EH. Those are all lines that intersect on HG. Okay, so let me erase those real quick. And so let's name those real quick. We've got DH. Okay, there's DH. Okay, CG, or GC, doesn't matter. And then we've got EH as well, and FG. Okay, so then let's answer the last one. It says, all segments that are skew to CD. Now remember, skew segments, okay, do not touch and aren't parallel. So not parallel and don't touch. Okay, they have to be both. All right, so let's take a look. So we've got CD. Here's CD in lines that are not parallel and don't touch. And what we would say, here's all the ones that I've got. If you were to extend this forever, okay, which lines would not be parallel and which lines wouldn't touch, okay, to DC? So I know that FB is skew to DC, so is AE, okay, so I'm going to write that real quick. I'm going to write AE, so AE is one, FB is another, okay, and then FG is not parallel and it won't touch, so FG as well, and then EH is another. Okay, so, it's just using those definitions we'd written in part 1 of the video and then answering the questions, okay? All right, let's take a look at the next few. Okay, it says, classify the relationship between each pair of angles as alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, or consecutive interior. Okay, and this is the same thing. When it says consecutive interior, that's the same thing as me saying same side. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Angle 4 and 5. Okay, first of all, let's take a look. This line right here, okay, this is your transversal. Okay, and so let's just take a look and see what we've got here. So we wanted angle 4 and angle 5. So here's angle 4. Okay, here's angle 5. Those are, if this is your transversal, they're on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so they're on the same side of the transversal, and they're on the inside in between those two lines. So we're going to call them consecutive interior angles. All right, so we've got consecutive. Okay, so we've got, these are consecutive interior. Okay, let's take a look at angles 5 and 11. So 5 and 11, these are if you're thinking about these two lines, line C and D, and this is our transversal. Okay, this is on the exterior, and they alternate sides. So let's come over here and let's write alternate exterior. And so I'm going to abbreviate this a little bit, and I'm going to say alt exterior angles. Okay. All right, let's take a look at angles 4 and 6. Okay, and those angles, okay, angles 4 and 6, those are on the interior in between lines B and C, and they alternate on either side of the transversal. So they're alternate interior angles. Okay, so these are alternate interior angles. Okay, and then let's take a look at angles 7 and 9. Okay, and those, all right, let's take a look at those. We got 7 and 9, and what I notice about those is that they're in between C and D, so they're on the interior, and then they alternate on either side of the transversal. So I'm going to call those alternate interior angles. So those are alt interior angles. Okay. So, all right, that's that. All right, let's take a look at 9 through 12, and it says identify the transversal connecting each pair of angles, then classify the relationship between each pair of angles. So, number 9 says angles 4 and angle 10. So let's look here. In this figure, okay, so we've got multiple lines here, and these can be considered as multiple transversals. Okay, line J, all right, is a transversal to G and H, and so is K. All right, that's also a transversal. Okay, but then you can look at this as H is a transversal of K and J, as well as G is a transversal of K and J. Okay, so we want to take a look at, what was it, angles 4 and 10? So if I look at angle 4, okay, and angle 10, okay, then they are alternating on either side of this transversal here, so it's G, okay? So, and then it says, for the transversal is G, all right, so I'm going to write that. I'm going to write that our transversal is line G, okay? And those were, what were they? Alternate interior angles. So they were alternate interior angles, okay? Let's take a look at 2 and 12. Okay, here's angle 2, here's angle 12. Okay, again, my transversal is line G, and those are alternate exterior angles, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write that our transversal Transversal is line G. Okay, and these are alternate exterior, so alt exterior angles. Okay, and then, all right, let's take a look at number 11, angle 7 and angle 3. So if I find angle 7 and angle 3, all right, then I know that the transversal is line J, okay? And those are corresponding because they're in the upper right corner of each of those intersections. So line J is our transversal. So transversal is line J. Okay, and those are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the last one, 13 and 10. So with those, all right, 10's already in black. I'm going to box that in. Here's 13. Okay, these are on the same side of this line. Okay, so line K is our transversal, and those are consecutive interior angles. Okay. So I want to write that our transversal is line K. Sorry about the movement, folks. So our transversal is line K, and these are consecutive interior. So consecutive interior. Okay, you could also call those same side interior as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a lot of identifying things. It's nothing too crazy, but we will look in the next video on 3.2 about how these relationships work if the lines are parallel. Okay, so enjoy. Thanks, bye.